Good morning, David. How are you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Good too. Yeah. So, let's start with, give us an introduction of, what you do and what Pomelo and, Lazada, how are they riding out this COVID-19 situation?
Yeah, so I uh, I started. I was one of the co-founders for Lazada when it back in 2012. That's how I ended up in Southeast Asia. So I'm Korean American, but I grew up in Germany and Korea, also in the States. And basically, I had an opportunity to come here to work to start Lazada, and that was great, and I learned a lot. But ultimately, I wanted to do something that kind of blends creativity and commerce. So that's how we started Pomelo. And with Pomelo, we're a omni-channel fashion platform. So we sell. We're headquartered in Bangkok, but we operate all across Southeast Asia, so Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines. Those are our markets. And yeah, with COVID, I think obviously it's a difficult time for everybody. In particular, I think you know, as a company that also has an offline presence, um, we felt a pretty big impact um, because we've had to close down all our stores and we're not able to serve our customers at the moment at any of our offline locations. But I guess the e-com side of the business has been picking up in a pretty significant way. So I think overall, we're seeing an acceleration in that side of the business, but obviously the stores are closed right now, and we have a lot of they have been closed. They just opened on Sunday here, but yeah, managing that whole thing has been tough. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So,
Yeah, I must say that, it's a great effort coming from an e-commerce seller that, has a huge network that's physical because of your own retail stores and pickup points where consumers can actually try on garments that they ordered online before making a purchase. So yeah, it brings us to the next question. Are there any interesting findings across geographies and product segments that you can talk about? For example, our our sales for certain types of garments, are they taking off more, or give us a few
yeah,
facts. Yeah.
great. Yeah, good question. So we're a brand first and foremost. So we're vertically integrated. We have
Hmm.
factories that we can work with. We do our own designs. So we were able to pretty quickly adjust our assortment
Hmm.
from what we had previously, which is a lot of trendy clothing, to a little bit more casual products for kind of staying at home, working from home. So that was a change that we had to make in the assortment. Obviously, we also were able to rapidly kind of switch our supply chain to start uh, sourcing and producing masks, right? So that was good. I mean, we were able to make them and put them available for sale. All the profits we are donating uh, to hospitals. So there were a lot of different things we were doing, and I guess on the product side, the last thing I would say is we also have because we're a platform, we have a lot of brands on the third-party brands on the platform,
Hmm.
and we were able to kind of work with them, give them information around what was working, what products we're selling, and obviously all the different brands on the platform were also able to adjust their assortment to kind of meet the changing demand during this period. So Yeah, those are really the learnings around product assortment.
Yeah, I see. And doing some research of my own, I've seen that e-commerce has become more frequent because of COVID-19, and it's safe to say it's whet the appetite for online buying. And this, of course, carries over into fashion. You have countries. This is according to Nielsen, sorry, Ipsos, where uh, the biggest boom is seen in Vietnam, where 57% of consumers are shifting their purchasing online. So huge shifts in user patterns, especially in countries that already had a big e-commerce presence. So what are you seeing in? And I know that Pomelo is tackling Southeast Asia's e-commerce, is trying to serve um, the fashion part of e-commerce. So how has let's say newer countries been performing, such as I would say Vietnam and Thailand?
Yeah, so I think what COVID has really done is it's accelerated digital transformation, digital disruption, right? So
Hmm.
I think if we're all familiar with kind of the annual Google Temasek study that comes out, and it says, okay, by 2025, right, like e-commerce is going to be like here, right? Um, and I think the reality is, what used to be 2025 has now been accelerated to 2022 or 2023, right? Um, so I think what we're seeing is like remote working, right? Use of remote working tools in the workplace, e-commerce, right? All of that uh, growth has basically compressed into like 1 year, right? So like Feb 2020 up until Feb 2021, right? You're just going to have that compression and that growth. So I think even in Thailand, or we actually don't operate at the moment in Vietnam. We're not open yet, but
Hmm.
Philippines is a great example. Even during the lockdown, we were continuing to take orders. And afterwards, I think, they just eased some of the restrictions. We saw a huge ramp up. So I do think that um, what the lockdowns have done is they've forced people, right, to just kind of like consider, well, if I had to do this digitally, how would I do it, right? And then go ahead and do it. And I think we're seeing that same trend. So our customer acquisition costs at the moment are actually half of what they used to be prior to COVID. And we've more than doubled the new acquisitions. Our overall ecom business is up almost 3x compared to last year. So I do think that digital disruption trend um, ha- has been moved forward as a result of COVID. So
Oh, thanks for the answer, David. So, yeah, I'm just listing off some facts about Pomelo off the top of my head. You guys have always been ahead of the curve when it came to doing physical stores to let consumers try on stuff, and returns, facilitating that, which is a big part of you know easing operations. How and as a figure that's looked up to in e-commerce and fashion in general, how would you stay ahead of the curve when, um, let's say, everything goes back to normal in a couple of months? What measures have you in place to return to, what it was like before COVID-19, if we can say that?
yeah, I think the so about 2 weeks ago, right? Sorry,
Hmm.
we did a workshop to really try to understand what we think are the big like big themes that are going to impact our business as a result of this. And I was just going through it yesterday with our board, and the four themes that we identified was obviously social distancing and the increased focus around hygiene um, is not going to change, right? It's like one of those things. Once you um, know how the sausage is made, right? You can
Hmm.
never go back to not knowing, right, how the sausage is made, kind of a thing, right? So the awareness is now there, right? That's a horrible analogy, but the awareness is now there, right? I think the second thing is e-commerce is going to continue to accelerate, right? That was the second one that we realized. The third one that we identified is that the offline traditional brick and mortar
Hmm.
fashion industry is going to go through some tough times, right? So already coming out of the US, Europe, you see a lot of brands that have been around for decades are going out of business in the fashion industry, right? And lastly, for the brands that do kind of make it through, they're going to realize that they have to diversify their selling channels, right? And move online faster, and make that a bigger part of their business, because you never know when something like this can strike again. So we looked at those trends and we said, okay, like, well, obviously, like, the core of our business, like you mentioned, is our is Pomelo pickup, right? You can basically order whatever you like from the app, go to our store or a partner managed pickup location, try those products on, and then you only pay for the items that you want to keep, right? So it's a try before you buy experience, which is pretty unique to Pomelo. And that experience has been great, but we realize, like, this is even better for the post-COVID world, right? Like, but we need to make sure that every single part of that process is safe, hygienic, right? And that customers really recognize and know all the things that we're doing in the background to make sure the experience is safe, right? So um, one of the things that we're introducing is complete contactless experience, right? So the clothes come uh, uh, in a separate bag directly from the warehouse, so nobody's ever touched them before, right? Other than to clean and steam them.
Hmm.
They get to the store, it's still within the bag, right? Then once the customer comes, it's in the fitting room. The customer doesn't have to actually interact with the store staff, and then they open, try on the products again, which have never been tried on before, and then they're
Yeah.
able to pay and walk out, right? Directly, pay directly in the app and walk out. So not only do you have like the benefit of being able to shop online and get the whole selection, try it on, which normally you can't do with e-commerce orders, which is why people don't like buying clothes on the internet. Uh, you all know that you're the first person trying on those clothes, right? And that they haven't been sitting on the rack in the store. So I think all of those are going to be I think that's going to be a key feature for us that we can further expand on. I think the second thing is obviously, in terms of the stores, we have some big stores. I think, you know, we feel even more comfortable with the Pomelo pickup experience. So we're looking at probably opening smaller stores as a result of this experience. And obviously on the e-com side, with the customer acquisition kind of growing so rapidly,
Hmm.
we want to keep accelerating that as well. So it's been a combination of making sure everybody's safe and we have the right policies and guidelines, while at the same time understanding where are the where are the opportunities right now, and how can we still stay proactive, right? So
Yeah, that's really important. And I liked your answer about how where brick and mortar is going. But despite being an e-com platform, Pomelo still has a big physical presence, and it kind of just blurs the line between e-com and brick and mortar because there's no fixed definition of what something should be. And as you know, case in point, you had more traditional outlets like Esprit closing all the outlets in Asia
Right.
besides China, and Neiman Marcus going bankrupt. So I see also that there are also brands like Nike and Adidas, which are, you know, on the Pomelo platform. Correct me if I'm wrong, through Luxi, Thailand, which was absorbed into Pomelo earlier this year. So I'm just thinking, you know, what is your role? What is your firm's role in helping all these more traditional retailers go into the new normal?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the crisis really helps to define your mission as a company, and I think we're helping to really you know digitize kind of the fashion industry, if you think about it in very high level terms. And when it comes to serving our brand partners, there are really four things that differentiate us from a Shopee or a Lazada or even a Zalora, right?
Yeah.
And the first is the omni-channel, which you mentioned, right? So we do both online, offline, and kind of connect the two. Um, the second is our product range is curated, so we're not a marketplace. So we actually work with the brands to identify whether or not that brand is right for our platform. And the second thing is we then go in and pick the right products from that brand for our platform form, right? So it's not a marketplace. So you know that there's going to be high curation, that
Mm-hmm.
the customers know the products they're getting meet a certain standard, etc. Um, the third is it's obviously female focused, and we have a big community component, right? So there's a lot of sharing of information, and we do a lot of UGC, user generated content, etc. And the last one is really around how we think about marketing, right? So it's not
Yeah.
about shooting Facebook ads or doing Google SEM. The way we do marketing is through trying to inspire our customers. So how to mix and match, how to get that certain look, right? How to take care of yourself from a skincare ritual perspective, right? So we do videos, we do lookbooks, we do interviews, we do live streams covering those topics. So when we go to a brand and they say, hey, we want to work with you, we want to partner with you, we say, look, um,
Mm-hmm.
we're not we take a different approach here, right, from a Lazada or a Shopee. So what we need from you um, uh, is we need to create a story. We
Yeah.
need the best products, right? And it's not about the discount. Um, so yeah, I think it's been really interesting. Our pipeline right now has grown a lot of in terms of brands that we want to work with, but we're holding very firm on those four criteria. So we're trying to get through as much of the work as we can and launch as many brands as we can. And hopefully that will also help them kind of deal with some of the overstock issues that they
Mm-hmm.
have right now. So
Yeah. And just aside from this doom and gloom from COVID-19, give us some positive news. At the time when many companies are looking to cut back expenditures, what's one key area that Pomelo is investing in for the future?
yeah, so the main areas that we're investing in at the moment is obviously on the Pomelo pickup side, to really make that as seamless as possible for our customers and
Yeah,
to launch that experience in many more locations. So unfortunately, at the moment, it's only available in Thailand and one location in Singapore, right?
yeah.
So we need to ramp that up. We're going to be doing that this year. So we're going to launch in three more locations in Singapore, also in KL and in Jakarta, which is great. So we're going to be able to serve our customers there. Um, And the second thing is on adding more brands, right? Like we um, there's a big need right now for a different type of platform that's not just based on discounts and promotions like some of the marketplaces that are there today. So that's those are really the two big initiatives right now that we're investing in.
Great. So thanks for the answer, David. So let's take some questions from our attendees. So
Great.
PY Hor asks, how do you compete with the likes of similar concept fashion brands such as Love Bonito?
Yeah, I think Love Bonito is a great brand. I think they have done an excellent job, kind of going from the very beginning to today. They have stores, and obviously it's a digitally native brand, right? So um, I think they do a great job. Um, but I think our approach is a little bit different. We're looking at um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, multiple countries, right? We
Yeah.
have kind of that regional approach, and then I think the second thing is obviously we're a platform. Love Bonito is a brand, so they're kind of serving their customers through their products. And I think the third thing is obviously, there's a lot of things that we're doing on the pickup side in terms of uh, personalization, etc., which is very, very important to us, just as much as kind of the being a fashion brand. So the brand part of our business is really important, but there are other things that we're also very focused on, which some of which I've highlighted, like the
Mm-hmm.
pickup and the third party platform components. So yeah, I think there are some differences, but in general, I think LV is a great brand, and I know a lot. I have a lot of friends who really love the brand and the story. So I hope um, I hope they're doing well and getting through the crisis as well. Yeah.
Great. And another question that an anonymous attendee brought up was, as e-com becomes a larger business and bigger cross-border players come into the region, what's Pomelo's competitive advantage? You come from the other side of the pond, so you could give us some insight on this.
Yeah, I think I talked about it a little bit, but I do
Mm-hmm.
think that there are a lot of the competition marketplaces is fierce, right? But even I can example, when we talk to
Mm-hmm.
Converse, they have different assortment, different hierarchy. They have a hierarchy for their assortment, right? They have like the uh, seasonal products, then they have like the fashion range, and then they have kind of the basic range, right? Like the
Yeah.
most basic products. And when they think about their shops, right? Like if it's on Orchard and it's in a nice department store, they're going to want to put it in the fashion range, right? If they know that a particular store or shop serves a lot of students, maybe a little bit more of the seasonal range or the basic range,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, when they think about marketplaces, and I'm not talking about them specifically, but when a lot of brands think about marketplaces, right? I think they think lots of discounts, old season stock, right? You have to do vouchers, you have to do clearance,
Yeah.
right? There's very little mix and match inspiration. It's mostly transactional, right? So for us, like we're the complete opposite of that, right? Like 80% of our products are sold on full price with no discount. Right now, there's a little bit more promotional activity just because of the times we're in, but generally speaking, it's around 80% full price. And also 80% of products are from in products, new products, right? And the third is the biggest driver is the content. So I think in that sense, I think we do occupy a pretty unique position within the industry that's going to be very difficult for a horizontal marketplace to take. Yeah.
Great. And one last question. How do you see the entry point of fashion e-commerce compared to the others? Do you think it's easier for competitors, for new ones to enter compared to, let's say, supermarket e-com platforms?
Uh,
Hmm.
I I honestly think that it's a little bit it's a little bit harder, and I'll tell you why, because I did Lazada and I've
Hmm.
also done Pomelo, and I
Yeah.
think when it comes to a general e-commerce website, it's all about price and assortment, right? Do you have like the widest range at the lowest price, right? But in fashion, that's not true at all, right? Just because I have like the largest store and the lowest price does not mean customers are going to come to you, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe a certain segment of the population, but by and large, like that's not a winning strategy. So what do you have to do? You have to, have the right the right product, right quality, right fit. Like you have to be able to like style it in a certain way, right? You have to shoot great photos. You have to provide great customer experience. And all of those things are more important than price and assortment, right? So
Hmm.
I think in that sense, it's both are difficult for sure. But I think uh, to me, I feel like I'm using more parts of my brain and
Hmm.
and and on a daily basis, being in this industry versus when I was at Lazada. So
Great. Well, we're running out of time, but thank you so much for your insight today, David. It's been really interesting to hear from Pomelo being such a big brand with such a growing presence in the region. Then, you know, we're looking forward to what your brand, what your firm can bring in the future.
thank you, Joseph. It was really nice chatting.
Likewise,
All right.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.